most harsh and terrifying prisons in the world, making anyone shudder. Mysterious Wuzhou greets you. Dear friends, when mentioning prisons, people often immediately think of places that detain inmates completely isolated from the outside. Prisoners held here are subjected to strict supervision, and even suffer physical and mental torture. There have been many harsh and terrifying prisons in the world. However, there are also prisons built extremely luxuriously, with the aim of reforming criminals' behavior rather than punishing them. In today's video, join Mysterious Wuzhou to explore the strangest and most frightening prisons in the world, and see what's inside those prisons. Located near the border between Russia and Kazakhstan, Black Dolphin Prison is reserved for the country's most dangerous and violent criminals, including serial killers, cannibals, pedophiles, and terrorists. The prison's name comes from a dolphin sculpture created by the prisoners themselves on the lawn. Prisoners here are monitored 24/7, via cameras and guards checking every 15 minutes. 2 prisoners share a 4.6 square meters cell, protected by 3 layers of steel doors to completely isolate them from. Each prisoner is only allowed out of their cell for 90 minutes a day, in a bare concrete exercise yard. If they move to unauthorized areas, they are handcuffed, blindfolded, and forced to bend over so they cannot observe the prison layout. This is a feature unique to Black Dolphin. Next is Russia's Ankatar prison. This prison is located on an island in northern Russia, and houses the country's most dangerous and violent criminals. Here, there is no common prisoner fighting, rape, or alcoholism as in other Russian prisons. But its rigid and brutal regime crushes even the most violent inmates. Each prisoner is locked in a small cell for 2 people, for 22.5 hours a day. They are only allowed 2 visits a year and rarely have contact with the outside world. It's no surprise that many prisoners here lose their memory. Half of the prisoners go insane, and even prison psychologists say this place destroys people. In the first 9 months, they try to adapt, but after 3 or 4 years, their personalities begin to deteriorate. Opened in 1968, Neve Tissa is the only women's prison in Israel, where Jews, Muslims, and Christians live side by side in cramped and overcrowded cells. Most inmates here are not native. Many come from Russia, Ethiopia, and South America, like journalist Tomer Hifra. After making several visits to Neve Tissa in 2018, he documented the isolation and fear of many prisoners here. Not only is it the only women's prison, but Neve Tissa is also dangerously overcrowded, with 6 prisoners sharing a cell of only 13 square meters. Most prisoners at Neve Tissa are mothers. They complain that the prison does not give them enough time with their children during visits. Only women. So juveniles and first-time offenders are also in prison alongside seasoned, experienced inmates. Neve Tissa is a very difficult place to live, a very harsh place, with a suffocating atmosphere and extreme Most prisoners here struggle to find employment after release, and 70% of Neve Tissa prisoners eventually return to this place. The high recidivism rate is partly because female ex-convicts are treated much more harshly than men. Mr. Tom Ifa says that the world does not accept a female prisoner. They will accept a man who has been to prison. This is understandable because there is an expectation here. But a woman who has been to prison is not. It is known that there are over 20,000 prisoners and suspects detained in Israel, and only 1% of these are women. All those female inmates are held in the only prison, Neve Tissa. This is also called the prison of the world's most beautiful female prisoners. Many prisoners are victims of prostitution and had a history of drug addiction, being sexually abused. Some prisoners also participate in trauma therapy groups. These people are not only abused outside society, but when in prison, they are also abused by guards with tactics. The solitary confinement here is clearly demonstrated through extremely small cells. So small that a person of average size cannot turn around inside. The cells are infested with bacteria and have no air conditioning or fans that still work. In addition, basic freedoms such as writing down their feelings or prisoners' prayers are also stripped away without mercy. They also often suffer collective punishments such as beatings, tear gas, not allowing family visits, and strip searches. In 2003, an anti-torture group petitioned the matter. Prisoners in Novadysa prison are subjected to violence, improper medical care, unjust isolation, and strip searches, which violate their dignity. In addition, this prison faces many other allegations. Mental illness is a common problem among prisoners, but Novadysa lacks the capacity to treat them. However, it is precisely because of Novadysa's harsh reality that it has helped prisoners become closer. There is a lot of affection among the prisoners. They often deeply care for each other, feeling like a very close family. And from there, occasionally, Novadysa female prisoners also participate in drama projects, hairdressing, fashion shows, helping them become more confident after release. The wardens here have done their utmost to help prisoners reintegrate into the community, but the situation has not been optimistic for many years. Terror House, the worst prison on the planet. Terror House is the home of Boston bomber Joka, the China F, who received the death sentence here. However, this prison is accused of poor conditions regarding medical care, mental health for prisoners, even noise pollution affecting sleep. In January 2021, Terror House had the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the federal prison system, including death row inmates. Federal executions at Terror House have been suspended since the U.S. Attorney General announced a review of his policy on the death penalty. The Trump administration carried out 13 federal executions just months before Trump ended his term by lethal injection. Montgomery was the first woman executed by the U.S. in 67 years, while men number in the dozens. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, Kenya. Kamiti Maximum Security Prison is located in an area considered by many to be the worst. It was built in 1954 by the British and modeled on an old colonial system to detain criminals in a state of emergency. Kamiti retains its original gallows. It is notorious for severe overcrowding and poor sanitary conditions. The official capacity of the prison is 1,200, but reports indicate between 1,800 to 2,500 prisoners crammed inside. The inmates here are also patients, living with serious health conditions, including HIV, tuberculosis, malaria, typhoid, and cholera. Kamiti is infamous for holding political prisoners and executions by hanging, but its notoriety increased in 2008. With a televised riot over food, and in 2021, the prison made headlines again when a convicted terrorism suspect escaped. And 7 guards were arrested for helping these men escape. Perhaps this is the most terrifying prison for the terrifying, isn't it? Called the clean version of hell, ADX holds America's most dangerous criminals. Some prisoners brought here require strict confinement, but prisoners are confined to their cells 23 hours a day. They have no interaction with other prisoners and limited interaction with guards. Prisoners have no exposure to natural light and are not allowed outside for more than 1 hour per day. It is believed that the light restriction is to break the prisoners' spirits. Currently, the prison is said to be holding many Al-Qaeda members, terrorist bombers, drug lords, and organized crime bosses. VN, the most dangerous prison in the world. Venezuela's common prison is considered the most dangerous prison in the world. Here, armed guards do not intervene, and prisoners openly operate drug-selling stalls. The prison has a capacity of 750 inmates, but at times the number held has been up to 10 times that figure. This prison has been taken over and run by criminal gangs. Wives, children, and girlfriends of prisoners are free to enter and leave the prison whenever they want. Every weekend, prisoners also hold parties with loud shouting and noise. Prisoners in this prison are divided into 3 groups: condo, religious, and trader groups. Among them, the condo group lives freely in the prison, allowed to use drugs and move around comfortably. The religious group always carries a Bible, responsible for cleaning the prison and cooking. The trader group consists of prisoners who must live in the worst conditions. Meanwhile, homosexual inmates are forced to live on the roof. This overcrowded prison is so dangerous that armed guards completely ignore prisoner activities. Even military soldiers dare not enter to reclaim control of the prison. However, the government ultimately emerged victorious and regained full control of the entire prison in 2017. Gitarama prison in Rwanda is one of the most crowded and cramped prisons in the world. This is truly one of the most crowded and cramped prisons in the world, with about 7,000 prisoners held in a facility built for only 400 people. Most prisoners here are suspects in the 1994 Rwandan genocide. Due to overcrowding, prisoners must stand barefoot on filthy ground all day, causing their feet to rot. Many even have to have limbs amputated due to necrosis. There is only one full-time doctor serving the prison, so most prisoners cannot receive necessary treatment, leading to numerous prisoners dying each day. Subscribe to the Gian Migo channel so you don't miss exciting videos.